Hello, hello, and welcome back to a Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose World Cup Daily Edition for the 20th of February. And the World Cup group stages in the T20 edition are absolutely winding down. Just one to come. And today we're going to go through the three-match recaps from overnight. We're going to look ahead to that one game between Australia and Oman. And we'll finish with a quick hit around Australia's women's team versus India and their second T20 match, which was wrapped up overnight in Canberra. Now, if you're enjoying the show, if you love your cricket news, make sure to hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel, and drop a comment as well so we know you're out there. Let us know, what are your takeaways? Will Australia get it done against Oman, or will potentially there be another upset in this World Cup? But let's rip into things. Let's start with Italy up against the West Indies. And the Windies, well, they roll into the Super 8s unbeaten with another W here. And this was a classic professional execution finish, enough runs, and then ruthless with the ball from the West Indies. They are absolutely firing, which is great to see. The innings was basically a shy Hope solo early, 75 of 46 for Hope, with all 7 power play boundaries coming from that man. He absolutely dominated the power play, led the way for the West Indies, and as they looked to be building a massive total, Italy did a bit right. Christian Calagamage and Ben Menenti grabbing 2 for 25 and 2 for 37 respectively. Those wickets just dragging the West Indies back from a potential 200-plus total to a more manageable 165. They did force the West Indies' big middle order names into a grind, and it worked until their chase started. The chase was over effectively in the power play. Matthew Ford, 3 for 19, effectively ending the contest with 2 strikes early, meaning Italy were 37 for 3 after 6 overs. Shamar Joseph then got involved, piling on 4 for 30, plus the bonus juice, 4 catches as well. A one-man highlight reel in the field and with the ball, dominating as the West Indies sealed a 42-run victory to close out their group stage and head into the Super 8s undefeated. Italy leave their first World Cup with a win over Nepal. Plenty of memories, plenty of positives, but the West Indies showed the gap between competitive and closing. That was a great win for the Windies. Speaking of great wins, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe dared to dream, and they have absolutely soared to their highest point I can remember in Zimbabwean cricket. They chased down Sri Lanka's 178 for 7 to win by 6 wickets, and 2 wins like this isn't a fluke. They knocked off Australia, and they've just outplayed the hosts on their own deck. That is a moment that matters. Sri Lanka started like a team that was on top and ready to rock and roll through to the Super 8s. Pathum Nissanka's 62 continued his elite run of form, and Sri Lanka were flying early. Quick 54 off the first 29 balls really set the tone. Then Zimbabwe did the key thing on a sluggish Premadasa pitch. They pulled Sri Lanka back. Graham Kremer's 2 for 27 was huge. He got Nissanka at the moment Sri Lanka needed him to go big, then pinned Kamindu Mendes as well. Brad Evans chipped in with 2 for 35 at the right time, and they kept the wickets moving. The chase had a really clear shape. Brian Bennett led the way, 63 not out of 48, playing that anchor role. Not too flashy early, but perfect for the surface and decisive. Then the hitters came around him. Sikandar Raza absolutely blazing, 45 off 26, a decisive burst when the run rate was starting to get scary, and even when wickets fell late, Zimbabwe didn't panic. Tony Manyonga lands a clutch 6. Bennett finishes it. In the big picture, Zimbabwe, almost unfathomable to think this before the group stages, head into the Super 8 stage, not only with real belief, they've got vibes, they've got a method, and they're undefeated. What a way to go. And last but not least, for the overnight games, Afghanistan versus Canada, both these sides were out of contention coming into this match. Afghanistan, though, they sign off with a bang, an 82-run victory, and it's big for multiple reasons. Ibrahim Zadran, 95, his career best T20 innings, unbeaten, batted through and absolutely owned the innings. And then on the other side of things, Mohammad Nabi, who is potentially in his last matches for Afghanistan at 41 years of age, 4 for 7, was straight up unplayable, 17 dot balls in his bowling spell, his best ever T20 international figures. Canada's night was basically summed up by fielding errors turning into a blowout. Rahman Ali-Gabaz got a life early, then Kaleem Sana dropped Ibrahim Zadran on 54, and those two moments end up costing them plenty. The story layer, this was also a farewell chapter for Jonathan Trott as the Afghanistan coach, and Ibrahim Zadran dedicating his player of the match to him was a classy act and moment. Canada's farewell note is rough. Navneet Dhaliwal in his last match, a 5-ball duck. Yuvraj Samra couldn't back up his New Zealand ton, out for 17. Afghanistan, it's fair to say they'll be disappointed with their campaign. They didn't make the Super 8s, but they left a reminder. There's serious quality here, and if Mohammad Nabi is nearing the end, as I suggested, that's a whole era of really prominent cricket from him, and a whole era of players to come through. He's going to be able to mentor that next generation. They've got plenty of stars on the way through. Now we flip the script and we go to the preview of Game 40, the final match of the group stages. And it's realistically a decoration. It's Australia versus Oman. Australia playing for pride, avoiding the word nobody wants attached to them. A loss to Oman will be summed up in one word: humiliation. The reality is brutal. They've been knocked out in the group stage for the first time since 2009. Smashed by Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka, and now they've got a front up in a dead rubber that means nothing outside of that word pride. This is a danger game. Australia have never lost to an associate in T20 internationals, but this format doesn't care about reputations if you don't execute. The spotlights, well, Adam Zampa, wicketless back-to-back games, and he's looked miles off his rhythm. This is the exact sort of match where he has to remind everyone he is still the go-to on slow subcontinental pitches for the Aussies. On the other side, Jatinder Singh, Oman's skipper, an all-time run machine, but he hasn't fired yet. 5, 1, and 7 from his 3 knocks so far. If Oman are going to even rattle Australia, it all starts with him. There's selection heat as well. Steve Smith has been brought into the squad but not played. It seems bizarre. Surely picking him now feels like closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. Expect maybe Matt Renshaw comes back and potentially Matt Kuhneman comes in as a specialist spinner. Cooper Connolly could be under pressure, as could Cameron Green. He hasn't bowled a lot. Do they throw Steve Smith in? There's so many questions to be asked, but one thing that is undeniable is a loss won't be tolerated here for Australia and heads will roll. The conditions, Palakelli should be good for batting and dew can matter. Chasing has been very doable here. The whole thing boils down to this: Australia need a clean win to stop the post-mortem getting even louder and messier, and that will be where their focus needs to be. But before we close out for this episode, I did want to touch on the Aussie women, their second T20 international against India. They got it done by 19 runs. They needed to bounce back after the SCG loss, and the headline here was Georgia Vol with 88. A proper statement innings under pressure. Vol and Beth Mooney, who got 46, put on 128, and Australia were 114 for none after 13. And it looked like they were going to go past 200 before India dragged it back hard late. India's big influence again, Arud Hardy ready. Backed up game one with another strong spell and key wickets at the death. Sophie Molyneux led from the front for the Aussies, the wicket of Shafali Verma. Smart reviews, and Australia held the nerve late as India collapsed, losing 5 for 7 at the death. The series decider now will be on Saturday in Adelaide, and all eyes shift to the city of churches. That's been our wrap, your Men's World Cup recap, Australia's final group game preview, and a quick tick on that Women's T20 series between Australia and India. If you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe, throw a like on the video, get involved in the comments, and share it around with your cricket friends. For your short snippets and extra content, make sure to follow at The Chris Mack Show on all your favourite social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook. And until next time, we're signing out here on your home of the Black and White of Sports, no grey opinions, The Chris McPherson Show.